What is going on, good people? We are back with an NXT review. It's been like three months, some around there, like two or 3 months, 6 months. It's been like 2 years. That's what it feels like. But we figured we'd come back strong with the NXT Takeover War Games review that I did not know, or that I did not realize was coming up, and then I thought about it, and this weekend is Survivor Series, so it made sense. But um, any overall thoughts on the show? I know both of us kind of had been backed up on watching NXT with the Mae Young Classic and everything that we were watching. Um, but any overall thoughts on the show or the storylines or anything like that?
Um, it seemed like a lot of the storylines were stuff we like the same as what they had been before. There were some that was like, oh, okay, that's interesting, but a lot of them, I mean, really all of them really like hadn't really changed, which is kind of a good thing. It's a good thing in the fact of knowing what's going on, but at the same time, it's a good thing because they've obviously let them have time to build. I've liked how some of them have kind of broken off into separate feuds too. Like obviously well, Tommaso Ciampa and Velveteen Dream was kind of a new one to me, but the before it was a three-way kind of feud they were having with Ciampa, Gargano, and Aleister Black, and that's kind of broken off into its own little thing now, which is kind of cool. Um, I mean, but overall, I mean, obviously it was good. Obviously takeovers are typically that way. So I wasn't expecting anything less. I still find it weird that they're starting at 7 now. That kind of like, I guess you're so used to them starting at 8 that it's kind of still kind of weird they start at 7. I don't think they like extend the show any, but I think they just started an hour earlier. Um, but other than that, I mean, I was excited for it. I was ready to watch it, and it was a good show overall.
Yeah, I liked it. The start time didn't really affect me because I was working a show, so I couldn't watch it when it started anyway. So, but then again, I'm sure that it'll affect me in other shows when I don't have another show the same night. But and like we always say, NXT is really good on recapping things well. So even if you haven't watched in a couple weeks, you're still gonna they're gonna recap it enough so you know kind of what's going on, which they did pretty well tonight. Um, so we start off with I didn't watch the pre-show. Did you watch the pre-show? No. I guess it was just a segment with Cassius Ohno and Matt Riddle, the debuting Matt Riddle, um, which was supposed to set up a match with them on the following week's NXT. This turned into a sort of impromptu match for them. Riddle won with a single running knee. I watched the replay a few times. I'm not sure that Cassius actually protected himself on that. It was so quick that I couldn't actually see if he put his hand up or anything, or it looked like he just took it. And if he did, props, because that looked vicious. But for a quick impromptu kind of match, we weren't expecting anything. I'm sure they'll still have the match on NXT this coming week. Cash Zone will say, "Oh, I wasn't ready," that something like that. And he'll lose because that's what they do with Cassius Ohno. Yeah. DJ.
It's been months since I've watched NXT, and Cassius Ohno still doing Cassius Ohno things, losing. And I mean, I noticed that was a common theme that he's still doing right now. Matt Riddle, I kind of like Matt Riddle. I don't know if I like Matt Riddle yet, as far as like his character is concerned. I like it, but it reminds me almost too much of Zack Ryder a little bit. It always almost it feels the bro stuff feels ripped off to me. I think he should have said dude or something. He should have went like the king of dudes or something. I don't know. I just don't. I just feel like the bro thing is almost ripped off to me. To me, in my opinion, it's Zack Ryder's thing. I'm just saying. I mean, just because Zack Ryder can get it over doesn't mean it wasn't his thing. Dang it. But I like this though. I thought it was typical of Castellano losing, but I think at the same time it was good kind of to get Matt Riddle out there and kind of show his like knockout strength per se. And obviously, we all know Castellano's gonna be like, I wasn't ready, I was, I wasn't ready for that or whatever. But I think it was good to kind of showcase Matt Riddle, like just not even as far as like showcase his character, but also kind of showcase um, I, I don't really know. Like it didn't showcase really a lot of Matt Riddle. Like I guess I don't. I'm trying to say it showcased him, but not in like the whole grand scheme of things. Type of it. I don't know. Well, this match was here, and it wasn't that long, and it was just here, and and I'm trying to say good things about it. And I'm probably lying because I'm probably upset that they threw this in here, knowing that we got this match coming up on Wednesday night. Anyway, it was, it was a good match, but I just didn't. I just didn't. I mean, it was a good match. It was a good match, but I could have done without this. They didn't need this whole 7 seconds and all the bro and that Matt Riddle did. I'm just saying.
What kind of man? What kind of wrestling fan doesn't know Matt? I mean, he transitioned seamlessly from MMA.
I know that they made sure to mention that 3 million times for me to make sure I knew.
I mean, you know,
But I mean, then again, doesn't everybody nowadays? Doesn't everybody seamlessly make that? Seamlessly transition seamlessly.
Indy DeVille don't do it too seamlessly. She I can't, I can't, I'm sorry, I can't. But uh, moving on, we got the NXT Women's Championship 2 out of 3 falls match. I didn't realize this was until tonight that this was going to be a 2 out of 3 falls match, which was pretty cool. Kind of shakes it up a little bit, not just the average one-on-one match. Kyrie Saloon versus Shayna Baszler. Um, didn't really like the quick start to the 2 matches beginning the show. Obviously, we had the really quick start of Matt Riddle versus Cassius Ono with the running knee. We had the really quick start of Kyrie Sane attacking Shayna Baszler. While it made sense, I just don't like opening 2 matches in a row like that, which is again why you probably could have let Cassius Ohno and Matt Riddle wait until Wednesday, but that's just a little nitpick for me. Not really anything that ruins the match. You know, does win the first fall with a submission. Obviously, for a second I forgot that it was 2 out of 3 falls, and I was like, that is a quick match. I mean, and still, oh wait, no, it's still going on. Never mind. Never mind. To postpone the and still postpone the and still. But they said something about outside interference by Jessamine Duke and Marina Shafir. I didn't see nothing. I personally didn't see nothing. I don't know if somebody else saw something that I didn't see. Maybe there was a camera angle that I didn't get on my network. Maybe, or maybe when they added the new levels of the network, maybe you got to pay extra to get those other. Because I didn't see nothing. I ain't see nothing. Um, I she won fair and square. There was no chicanery, no no tomfoolery, no nothing like that. Um, I still really don't like this feud though, just in general. I feel like, for one, I feel like it's gone on long enough, and I just don't feel like they match up well together. I feel like they almost book Kyrie Sane too much like a rag doll against Shayna, to where she just doesn't seem legitimate to me. And I know she is, but she just doesn't seem legitimate to me against Shayna Baszler. Um, but we did get the greatest finish of all time. You know, she tried to go for it and then roll up. Yeah, baby. And still, your NXT champion. But I do like how they did that the finish with the elbow and then she rolls her up. That was kind of a smart finish there because they haven't done that before. And, you know, it's bound to, you know, be a time when somebody figured that out. And it was your reigning, defending NXT Women's Champion. DJ, thoughts on Kyrie Sane losing?
Um, you know, I, uh, uh, I,
Yeah,
two times. I don't know. I mean, I knew Shayna Baszler was going to win this match, obviously, but I do disagree with you on the fact that it doesn't feel like Shayna Baszler could have won this match, or they don't feel like they're even, or whatever. I felt like that in the past. I've definitely felt like that in the past, and I've been very vocal about it on the podcast, of course. But I felt like in this particular match, they did a good job of booking it that way, where it felt like even though Shayna had every advantage possible, you know, Kyrie Sane still went into. I mean, she's the big power aspect of she's a powerful lady. You know, she's the MMA. You know, she got that the strong punches in there, the striking abilities. You know what I'm saying? She can manipulate the joints and whatnot. You know, she got that, and she got the numbers advantage. You know, so she had every advantage, but at the same time, it felt like um, I thought it was booked evenly enough to where it felt like Kyrie Sane could have won this match. Um, Obviously, I wasn't surprised that she took the first fall because for whatever reason they seem to do that a lot now. They tend to do that a lot. But it was cool to see El Shirai come out and help out at the end. That was cool. Obviously, them being besties and whatnot, that was cool. Um, I I didn't like the finish. Now, the first finish I thought was good. With her catching her in the submission, I always like that. Um, but I feel, and I know like they don't have but so many finishes to use for Shayna Baszler right now that we've seen. So, there's not. I guess there was really no other way to do it. But I just didn't like it because to me it doesn't make sense to have a 2 out of 3 falls match that's really good and then to have a crucifix pin. I mean, who is she? Jesse Goddard? A crucifix pin win to end up finishing the match. Like I I just didn't like it because it was because I think I just expect more. Especially when the match is this good, you expect more out of the finish. And to me, O'Connor rolls or Okada, whatever it is, the roll, the roll up, the leverage pin, the crucifix pin, unless it's a part of your finisher, just doesn't do it for me. It takes away from the finish of the match. Doesn't mean this match wasn't good. Just means I didn't like the finish. And I'm glad Shayna Baszler won. It sounds like they're ending this feud now. I wonder but it's weird though because you would think you'd have Shayna somewhat win clean on that last finish. Um, to kind of just completely put this away. Just because I think to me, I feel like even with leverage pins, it feels like you didn't quite win. You didn't like it feels like it could keep going on because of the way you won. To me, in my opinion, spooky, Casey, spooky to me.
Mhm. Okay. Okay. I don't know what you're talking about with these numbers. Like, I don't understand that. You meant NXT Universe was all behind Shayna. That's what you meant with the numbers. I get it now. I understand. Uh, I do think, and I was talking to with a couple people at training tonight about this. The sad part about this match is the highlight of this entire match wasn't even in the match. It was Io Shirai doing the moonsault off the top, bro. Like when that's the highlight of your match, like, bruh, come on.
Well, was that the highlight because she hasn't has she debuted yet? I don't know right off.
No, it was the highlight because it was a beautiful move. Like
True, you're right.
it was gorgeous. She was, oof, it was beautiful. It was flippity dippity. I would say. I would say that it was a flippity dippity. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I would say that. Got to use it outside of and in the show. Yeah. Goals, baby. Just you you gotta keep on your goals, kids, and you'll succeed. Moving on. um, we had Johnny Gargano versus Aleister Black. And this one was built up with I guess Johnny being the one that had attacked Aleister Black. Oh, I remember those weeks when they were looking over the footage and doing the CSI, NXT, and I was like, bruh. But
It was good because, and I think they finally like. Well, actually, I think they revealed it back then, but it like brought it back to my attention that it was Johnny and not Lars or whoever. Speaking of Lars, like remember when he was getting pushed? Remember that? Just I'm just he had an NXT title match, and now I'm like, wait, what he had?
true, it's true, true. Anyway, um, I like this match. Very interesting. Match storytelling during the match and psychology with Johnny having a bit more of a mental edge over Aleister Black with the opening slap, which Aleister Black usually is the one that has the mental edge over his opponent. So that was an interesting aspect to this match. But I love this match. But the only thing I didn't like, and I don't know why they did this so many times in this match. It felt like they did it at least 6 or 7 times. Probably was only like 3. But they kept doing the reverse reversing a kick into a roll up. And I get it. It makes sense. Aleister Black does a lot of kicks. Johnny does some kicks. So, reversing into a roll up. But they did it so many times in this match. I was like, "Come on, like, stop. Just connect with one of them." Um, but definitely a good match. I still didn't think it was as good as Johnny versus Tommaso, or some of the other matches that Aleister Black has had. But it was definitely good for the story that they were telling and everything. Um, I'm wondering where it goes from here with them. And what about Nikki Cross? She was the one that had the view of who it was, and now like she ain't even out involved in this no more. Like where's she at though? Where's Sanity at though? Like did I miss something? Did they just like all die or something?
Well,
Like
apparently they're on the main roster, right?
I ain't seen them.
Well, I can't remember. I thought I saw something. I know they were on the main roster, and then Nikki Cross just joined them on the main roster like 2 weeks ago, maybe. Um, and then for some, if I'm not mistaken, I think I saw they were pulled from something from SmackDown or something. I can't remember right offhand.
Oh, that's not good. But thoughts on the match?
Yeah, it was good. I I like the kind of talkative nature of Johnny Gargano. I like the nature that you don't really know what he is right now. Like he's kind of in between. Like he's Johnny Gargano, so he's always a face to a certain degree. For the most part, he's not doing anything like devious. He's doing kind of things for him right now. But at the same time, it's almost like he reminds me a lot of Eddie Edwards right now. Not in like not in a too like wacky way like Eddie is, but in a way like I mean obviously like Eddie's like he's got this like out of his mind character, whereas Johnny it's similar, but at the same time it's he's not like crazy, but like he's kind of like in business for himself, kind of like Eddie Edwards is. And I like it. I thought it was good. I like kind of obviously with Aleister Black trying to get back at him for costing him the title, and this has been a whole little thing, and I like that this broke off in kind of its own little way. It broke off, and you would think this is kind of like the number one contenders type spot. Um, the next person to challenge Tommaso, and I like it. I thought it was good. I also liked at the end, kind of the black mass kick, and then Johnny Gargano just kind of he's out, and then he kind of just lays there, and you know obviously the black hits it again and ends the match. But you know, I like that. There were a couple of moments like that, especially for Johnny. You saw a couple of moments where Johnny looked like he was going to end up doing, finishing the match, and he might even hit the move. But then it was kind of the showman aspects of things, the like I'm better than you type thing that kind of cost him in this one. And I liked it. I thought overall it was a good match, and I wonder if they're going to keep this going, or is this going to be the next kind of challenger for the title again? Because both of these guys are challenged a couple of times. So I kind of wonder if Alex is going back after the title or what's going to happen.
Yeah, I I'm curious too. I do like the kind of like you said, the sort of heel turn of Johnny Gargano. But I like how it's kind of he's still to him he's still a face, like he's still the good guy, but the things that he's doing are heelish, um, kind of like Eddie Edwards. So
He's not a bad guy.
I'm a good guy, but I could see them eventually, using this heel turn to somehow get Tommaso and Johnny back together. Because that's bound to happen at some point. I'm pretty sure, with them being such a popular team, and in both of their matches, they always tease, DUI stuff. So I'm sure it's gonna happen at some point. But moving on to the NXT Championship match. Velveteen Dream versus Tommaso Ciampa. I gave DJ this match because first of all, I was confused. Like I get the Hollywood thing; they were in LA. Other than that, what does Hogan have to do with anything in this match at all? I was
Well, you remember the last time he dressed up as Hogan and it didn't make sense. At least this one was Hollywood Hogan, so it made sense as far as like where they were. And then I like the OVA on the OVA on in the NWO kind of font or whatever. I thought that was cool. I liked it. I liked it. I like that. Velveteen Dream's one of those guys, and we say this all the time. You know, it, and maybe it's just the NXT feel or whatever, but we always talk about how guys and male wrestlers, female wrestlers, whatever. Rarely ever do they have different attires. Like it's like the same thing over and over again. We talked about it before, and it seems like Velveteen Dream always has something different, something. Albeit this one was the same as the other one, except for because he dressed up as Hogan before, and not the last takeover, but the one before, I think. He dressed up as as Hogan before, but I always like it, and it seems like he never really repeats himself as far as his attires are concerned, which eventually he's going to have to because he's going to run out of stuff to do, but because like at first it was like the airbrush of somebody's face. I can't remember who it was right offhand. Um, and it kind of gave you a little bit of like Rick Rude. No, it wasn't your face. And it kind of gave you that kind of feel of Rick Rude, and then he went to the Hogan thing, and then he went to the boxing attire. That was cool. Like I just think I like that they do different things with Velveteen Dream depending on his opponent. Now, obviously, like you said, this one didn't necessarily make sense for Champa. Like the Hollywood Hogan thing didn't make sense for Champa per se. But it's always something different, which I like. But this match was good. I enjoyed it. It had a lot of different ways to where it felt like it could go either way, but at the same time, I knew Ciampa was going to win. It was hard for me to figure out who to cheer for in this one because obviously I love them both. I love Ciampa, but at the same time, I'm like, no, it's the dream, baby. I was going to text Casey and be like, why they do this to me? Why they do this to me like this? Don't do this to me. But I like it though. And it's interesting. I always, this is a feud that I think goes with this narrative. I like how NXT, not everybody's set in stone as a face or a heel. And Velveteen Dream's one of those guys. For the longest time, he was a heel. It felt like he went against EC3. In his early time, he was a heel. And then in this one, he was obviously the face. Just because of to a certain degree who he was going against, but at the same time, like it was about crowd reaction too, and I liked it. I thought it was good. I'm loving what they're doing with Champa and him like holding the title like it's like his most prized possession he's ever won ever. I like that. I've never, and maybe you've seen that before, but I've never seen that before. I've seen different people hold the title different ways, but like I've never seen somebody like hold the title like it's like their own flesh and blood, like it's their baby. I've never seen that before right off. Not the way he does it, in the way of like I don't want to lose this thing. And it's not even just like the holding of it; it's the look that he gives it and everything like that. Like it kind of just it almost brings a little bit more of an importance to how important the title is, even just to him, which I like. I thought that was good. Obviously, we've seen people kiss the title before, but it's kind of he has like a different feel about his love for the title. And his even his character has changed since he's won the title. Like he hasn't been like like and it's changed in a way like at first he was like obsessed with getting revenge on Johnny, and now he's like obsessed with keeping the title. It's like an obsession type of a character that he has, and I like it. But overall, this match was good. Entertaining. It was good. It had some good false finishes in it, but I pretty much knew that Ciampa was going to win, and I like the direction they're going with him. I almost wonder who's going to beat him, you know, to finally take the title off of him. They try to have Johnny do it. I'm not too sure right off, but I'm interesting.
Your sound is going weird again. It's his game. Oh, and he just leaves. Doesn't even say goodbye. He just leaves, and he gonna come back like nothing happened. He just gonna walk right in like nothing happened. Cause he do that all the time, all the time. We gonna wait for him to come back just a second, cause he should pop right back in. He should pop right back in, cause he usually goes right to his phone. Hey,
My phone is not charged enough for this, but I'm gonna push through.
there's this thing called a charger.
I don't even know what my charger is, man. I'm gonna push through.
Then go charger, go.
I got this. I got 18%. I can make it.
Yeah, as soon as I saw that it was Champa versus Velveteen Dream, I was like, this DJ match, I'm gonna give him a match because I want to torture him. But finally we have the War Games match, which is a weird. It's almost weird to call this the War Games match because like the War Games match itself doesn't even start until all the people get into the match, but the match already started. It's really confusing if you think too much about it. But obviously we had Undisputed Era versus War Machine. I will not say the other name. Still won't do it. Nope.
I thought it was growing on you. What happened?
I haven't watched NXT in a while, so it went away. The growing on me went away. Pete Dunne and Ricochet. Um, Adam Cole and Ricochet begin the match. I like that. To at least Ricochet more with the cardio can make it through. Adam Cole too, but I man, they could have done. They could have done Adam Cole starting off. They could have done Kyle O'Reilly starting off. I think there were more options on that side of who could start off. But obviously, Adam Cole is the big draw from Undisputed Era. So him and Ricochet started off. Great start to the match. I liked it. Nothing too high risk or fast paced to start off, which is good for a match like this where you kind of have to go the distance until all of the competitors get in the match, and then the official War Games match can begin. So you don't want to, blow yourself up before that happens. I did like the springboard European uppercut by Ricochet from one ring to the other. I thought that was interesting. Haven't really seen somebody do a springboard European uppercut like that. That was cool. Kyle O'Reilly was the second competitor in for Undisputed Era to give them the advantage. Pete Dunne was originally supposed to be the second to come in for his team, but he was held back by Hanson, which I wasn't sure was a great idea, psychology wise, or storyline wise, because, like I said before, you want to, have the guys who have better cardio go in earlier so they can last longer. Hanson's a bigger guy, even though he can, do a lot of crazy things in the ring. I didn't think that was smart on his part, but third for Undisputed Era was Roderick Strong. Rowe was third for his team. Still Pete Dunne ain't getting in the match. That poor man, he just wanted to get in the match, and he was like, "Nah, bruh, you stay here." But finally, for Undisputed Era, Bobby Fish was the last out to continue to finish his team coming in. He grabs the key from his cage and the lock from his cage, runs over to the cage that had Pete Dunne in it, puts that lock on it, and throws the key out in the audience. So now Pete Dunne's cage has two locks on it, and one of them they do not have the key for. So immediately, and I hope I was not the only one that was like, why would you do that? Like, I get it. Okay, you don't want, all the guys from the other team in the match, so you have the advantage. But if all the guys from the other team can't get in the match, then the War Games match can't officially begin, and then nobody can win the match. Bruh. But I probably thought way too much into that, but I did. But finally, they do get bolt cutters because they always have bolt cutters somewhere. That's just one thing that they always have. They always got bolt cutters. They always got chairs under rings. They always got tables, kendo sticks. These are the four basic things that you always have at a wrestling show for no reason. But definitely liked this match when it finally got going. There was some kind of really cool spots. The double backflip from Ricochet off the top. We knew Ricochet was going to do something crazy from the top, and he did. But definitely a good match. I was surprised at the finish. I know Undisputed Era won last year, but I almost, with how certain things went in the match, I thought they were gonna win again, and I thought that they were going to set up something with a feud with War Machine and Pete Dunne, and maybe a partner of his choosing. With the fact that they were the two that pushed him back and wouldn't let him come in the match. I thought they were gonna build something up there, but apparently not. They just had them win, which I don't have a problem with. I like that team, but it just didn't make sense to me. But definitely a good match overall. Not sure if it was as good as last year's, but it definitely was good. I'm gonna have to watch both of them kind of one after the other to see which one I kind of think is better. But DJ,
Yeah, I was more excited coming into like I was like I need to get to when everybody's in the ring. I didn't skip it by any means. I was just like, all right, can we skip this preliminary stuff and get to the good stuff? Because I knew that's when all the good stuff was going to happen. That's when they was going to do this ridiculous Tower of Doom that they did. Ricochet was going to jump off the cage. Like I knew when all these things was going to happen. They was going to have the table that tried to fall on itself, and then they had, he had to reset it. But it was good though. Yeah, obviously it was a spot fest, and you know I like what they did with Pete Dunne, but like you said, thinking about it, in hindsight, it's like that really didn't make any sense. Like you can't win unless you're in there. Like it would have made sense if they would have knocked him out and dragged him to the ring, and then tried to do it that way. Maybe that would have worked a little bit better. I never did catch how he got out. How did he get out? I mean, the freaking bars were like so far apart that like I feel like he could have just squeezed through there.
you got they brought bolt cutters out.
Oh, okay, that's right. You said that. Like I said, I could have swore he could have Enzo Amore himself, just slid through. But but still using them shark cages. By the way, it's the same cage. I know it. It's the same cage. Just got them on the ground this time. But anyway, I liked it though. It was good. It had every kind of exciting little moment that you'd like to have. I thought one of the coolest moments were when one team was in one ring, the other team was in the other ring. Then they kind of met in the middle, and they had their little punch off or whatever. I thought that was cool. That was a cool little moment. That was one of the really cool moments. That was just like simple, but like you almost have to have it in a match like this. And I liked it. I thought it was good. I still, and this is just an NXT Takeover War Games thing, but it still is weird to me that they have both rings set up the whole time. Obviously, you don't want to take time out of then the pay per view to set up another ring or anything like that. But it does it's interesting. It like adds a new like wrinkle, a new vibe to it because obviously used to having the one ring. So it kind of like basically like cuts off one side to a certain degree. But I still like it though. I think it makes this pay per view feel different, and I like how they switch rings every match and all that. But this match was good. I liked it. It was good.
They need a third ring, I think.
they need the triangle of rings.
But that was your NXT War Games 2 review. Overall, pretty good show as usual with NXT. I don't know, or takeovers, I should say. I don't know if it was the best one we've seen. I feel like this might have been one of the weaker ones. I don't know. There wasn't really anything that jumped out at me.
Well, I think too, like when you haven't been, I think it hurts when you haven't been following it for a while because like you get invested into the different storylines and what's going on, and I think that maybe took a little bit away too. Where we've been away for a couple months, and albeit the storylines are for the most part the same, there's certain things that we've missed throughout the last couple of weeks.
Yeah. But still overall, definitely a good show. Tomorrow night we will have our Survivor Series review out. I've watched some of the matches because we watched a few of them at training tonight, so that was kind of cool. But we'll have that out, and then back to we're trying to get back to the regular schedule of NXT on Wednesday or Thursday, and then Impact. So hopefully we can get that. We won't. Let's be honest. We gonna try for like a week, and then DJ gonna have football. I'm gonna have training. Like it's gonna. Uh, we gonna try. We gonna try. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at ICW_podcast. Follow us on Instagram at I think it's also ICW_podcast. Hit that subscribe button. Hit the share button. And we will see you on. Oh, yeah.